Hey,
What's up, buddy?
day late, donut short, or whatever, dollar short, whatever they say. Thursday night edition to Family Matters. Jay Staples, Kevin Petersen. We do this every week, normally on Wednesday, so it's not Wednesday night.
Yep.
Your mind's not playing tricks on you. This is Thursday. We're just trying to keep you guys off balance. We're trying not to get too big of a following, so we're switching up all the times we're on. So one thing that remains consistent is Kevin W. Petersen over on Instagram is amazing stuff. I mean, that never goes away. Family coaching, family resources, chronichope.us, all kinds of free resources, and you can reach Kevin directly through there. There's a Chronic Hope Facebook page that I creep on every so often. Just families helping families without all the interference, I'll say. But Mr. Kevin Petersen, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I fresh off a 2-day workshop in Savannah with a couple of other great therapists and the amazing Katie Reed. She's a clinical coach, therapy person that's helping me do my job better. So I'm pretty fired up. And next week I'm going to be in Jackson, Mississippi, visiting Stonewater Adolescent Program.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Kevin on the go.
Yeah, What about you? I hear you have a golf tournament coming up, mister.
We have a golf tournament next week, the Jane Eric O Masters, benefiting For Recovery, or brand new recovery foundation that's going to help people that can't afford counseling, family coaching, interventions, whatever it is. We can take the financial aspect away and get people help, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do. So,
you guys have a. So how would someone donate to that, or how would someone get involved in?
You can go to For Recovery Foundation.
Okay.
We don't have a website up yet, but you can do the social media. I've been doing social media. Website is finishing. Hopefully, I'm hoping it's before the event, and the event is next week Friday. So web people get on it, but. For Recovery, it's FORE, playing off the word golf for recovery. We're excited about that. So we'll have brand new, more information once we get it fully unveiled. So that's why I've been kind of quiet about it. So
okay,
I hate mentioning it without the website behind it. So we had thought the website would have been up by now. But anyway, you know what? We can't concentrate on the bad things. Let's just concentrate on the good things.
I hear you. My thought process was, if this is benefits people that can't afford things, I would be happy to throw in a free coaching package.
Boom. You know what? We're getting bigger and bigger, and we want to utilize you guys, Chronic Hope, as well. So we'll talk more about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just saying.
I'm going to hold you to that, dude. Just so you know, that's legally binding. This is recorded. Just so you know. Can't go back on it. Can I use it for myself?
No.
Oh, comes with catches. All right.
For your parents.
Jeez. Well, they don't need it. They're parents of me. Like, why would they need it? All right. Our 23-year-old son went to treatment when he was 17. The offer reminds us that we punished him by sending him to treatment. His drug addiction has gotten worse lately. We're scared. This is actually an ongoing thing. It's just the overall theme of reaching out for help is being villainized, and it's not punishment. I understand this. What do you got?
2 things. One, the fact that he's bitching about it means he's alive. So when he was 17 and he was probably doing something that was life-threatening, you made a choice. And so you've obviously made the right choice. I don't know the specifics. I don't know how it went down. I don't know if you used an old-fashioned intervention, snatch and grab, or you had a conversation.
It didn't sound like the old stash and grab, but who knows? We don't know.
So you did the right thing, because as your parents, when you have a 17-year-old that's struggling with drugs and alcohol, it's your job to step up to the plate and help him. Now, you said you sent him when he's 17, he's 23, and his drug problem's bad. So now you're in Kevin's world. Now we got to start setting boundaries with him and make it clear that no. 3 categories: no drugs, no alcohol. You have to have a job or go to school, and you got to treat us with respect. And, we got to have some basic family rules. So you need to go back to basics as the parents. You need to read Kevin's book, Parenting the Addicted Teen. And then my second book, Families and Addiction. And we got to start setting up the boundaries and talking about how to address him and let him know that, hey, you know what, this isn't okay. So I'm ready when you are. You can buy the books on Amazon, Audible, or Kindle. And the sooner we get started, the better, because he's back down his path and we got to stop that path. That's it.
I'm interested. I mean, I get this a lot. Do you, from the family's perspective, see the family as kind of sending their son or loved one to treatment as kind of a consequence, and they kind of take it personally as to like they're not good parents?
Absolutely. The parents are always, throughout the entire process, whether it's before a treatment episode or during or after, they always are like, oh my God, what have we done wrong? This is our fault. And without knowing the specifics of this case or this family, I would say 9 times out of 10, if the kid is truly struggling with drugs and alcohol, that's not your fault. What you do need to take responsibility for is how you're responding to it, and how you're reacting to their behavior, and how you're reacting to their drug use, and reacting to their behavior, how things are going at school. Those are signs that's them giving you data and information of, hey, I need help. And so you got to step in and offer help to those situations. That's the important thing. So you're not responsible for their action, their behavior and their action, but you are responsible for how you respond to it. And that's really what it comes down to. And I get this. Every kid that gets taken to treatment eventually comes back to his parents. Is like, I can't believe you did that to me. And the response is, you know what? We may have done it the wrong way, but you're still alive. And honestly, that's the end of the conversation. That's just it. You're alive to bitch at me. So evidently we did the right thing.
Well, absolutely. Sign me up for a condo in that Kevin's world too. I want a beachfront property in Kevin's world. That would be a magical place.
By the beach.
My ex died 3 to 4 years ago from a drug overdose. He was an addict through our marriage and beyond. My 17-year-old is anti-drug use and of any kind, while a 20-year-old brother abuses anything he can. She wants to know the age-old, like, how is this possible? Obviously, same dad, saw it all. They're both going directly opposite directions. Why is that, Kevin?
I don't know. That just happens to be, my mom was a prescription drug addict and suffered from a ton of mental health issues, probably a lot of childhood trauma and, things we never talked about. I have a sister who's a couple of years younger than me. She grew up in the room next to me. She's like the 17-year-old, no drugs, barely drinks, nope. I was the 20-year-old, and I'm like, woohoo, look out, and so the bottom line is that what you need to do is exactly what we told the last family. You got to start with a 20-year-old. You got to start establishing boundaries. And I want you to understand when I say that, I don't mean you got to reach into it and grab him by the neck and force him to do X, Y, Z. Quite the opposite. What you got to do is say, hey, look, I want you to understand. Let's say he's living in the house. You want to live in this house, no drugs, no alcohol. We're going to start drug testing. It's that simple. And you got to get a job, or you got to go to school, or some combination. You got to be self-sufficient. You got to be contributing to the gig here. And then the last boundary is you got to, behave within the family structure of what the expectations are as the family. And again, I'm not saying, you got to cut your hair, pull your pants up. Micromanaging doesn't work. It's my house. It's my rules. If you want to live here, these are the rules. And if somebody's struggling with drugs and alcohol, we're not going to punish them if they can't get it together. We're going to help them and offer them a solution. If they choose against the solution, that is their choice. And we're gonna acknowledge and respect their choices. This is not about how do I control my kid. This is about giving your kid an option, telling him you love them, and that this is not okay. Now, as Jay and I will tell you, if your kid's sticking needles in his arms or doing drugs like fentanyl, then it's a whole different conversation. We got to go to plan B, and plan B is much more of the, hey, guess what? You're going to treatment, because we don't want you to die. And it's just that simple and that straightforward. But it's, Jay and his partner, Justin, and I have a much, our perspective is let's gather up everybody together, have a very loving, kind conversation with some very strict boundaries. And that tends to be the most successful methodology. So,
amen.
Yeah.
Kevin, I feel as if my son is addicted to the drug lifestyle.
Yeah.
He abuses drugs and sabotages his well-being because he's never had a high self-esteem. He's been bullied all throughout school years. It's I get this a lot too. It's more the family wanting to say it's the lifestyle of being that bad boy and being bullied and stuff instead of the actual abuse itself.
Sure, being the cool kid.
I was a cool kid for a couple days.
I tried. I was telling at this workshop, there was this really neat therapist from Austin, actually, and we're having a great conversation. She was telling me she grew up Mormon in Utah and then in her teenage years broke out of the system. I said, I grew up with Mormons and I love them. I mean, they're absolutely wonderful people and have nothing but great things to say. I said, but when I, at 14, I started noticing that I started liking drugs, alcohol, and girls, and they didn't. So that was the end of my Mormon friendships. Not the end, but I was like, I'm going over here with the cool kids, So anyway, here's the deal. Again, same baseline. Let's set the same parameters, no drugs, no alcohol. We'll talk about you got to go to class, got to turn in your homework, got to get good grades, and then behavior at home. And we're going to help you. We're going to support you through all this. Now, the big piece for you guys in this one is the behavior at home. And that's the self-esteem, the bullying, et cetera, et cetera. Let's get him help. Let's get him therapy. Let's get him engaged. Let's get him engaged in things that build self-esteem. Who knows what that is? But, let's figure it out. Maybe he likes art. I think it was a he. I don't want to presume. Maybe he likes, maybe he likes art. Maybe he likes dirt bike riding. Maybe he likes weightlifting. Maybe he likes none of those things. Let's find out what he likes and engage him in something that gives him self-esteem. Therapy is probably a must. And if he's definitely struggling with drugs and alcohol, we might need to put him into treatment to start with, to just pull him out of that environment and clear his head and clear his body, and then go from there and give him some alternatives. But that's the parenting that needs to occur. Yeah, by all means. And it's hard. I get it. It's hard. And again, we're going to go back to where have we failed? What have we done? This is our fault, et cetera, et cetera. Well, once we get the kids settled, we'll have that conversation, But we're not gonna. If your kid's struggling, let's get your kid help. Then we can talk about your stuff. And by all means, we're going to talk about your stuff because that's critical. Healing the family system is kind of my whole jam. So,
because we all have stuff, Kevin.
Did you read that somewhere?
No, I just get bullied with it every week.
I am mean.
What it's been said, like the opposite of addiction is connection. I mean, I think there's just that email, just kind of lack of connection, the bullying. I think you're exactly right. I mean, the therapy, and it just seems like, however people, I think there's connection plays a big role. I think it played a big role in my recovery. I know that, and just screams a lack of connection. So I think there's a lot I'd be willing, we don't know this story. I don't know the story, but I think there's a lot of, if we ask the story, I think there's a lot that gets packed into. Just have that suspicion.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right.
So, I'm shocked that we don't get more of these, but we do. We don't know where our son is. He's been living in Florida and said he met someone that's going to get him into treatment. We sent a picture of our insurance card to some random Florida number. That's it. They don't know where the kid is. They think he may or may not be in some kind of treatment center. They did get a call from a said treatment center saying he's there. That was a couple weeks ago, but then no communication.
I get it.
Unfortunately, we all get it. This is the other side of the industry.
Oh boy. Yeah. What I would say is, obviously, when your son goes into treatment and he's over, I don't know what Florida's rules are, but I mean, I think it's like 16 or 18. It's his, it's a medical record. It's his, and it's his only. However, when it comes to I think the financial side of it, that they have the right to know what's going on and what's being charged against their insurance. And so I would call the treatment center and say, hey, we just would like to know what's going on. Can we do some family therapy? Can you please give a message? The person on the phone is probably going to say, I can't tell you whether or not that person's here. It's against the law, which is true. But what you can say is, we would like to leave a message. We would like to send a letter. What's the address? You have the right to do all those things. Whether or not they respond, that's not up to you. But what I would do is I would make the offer that, hey, we want to love you and help you and support you. And whatever that looks like, we would just like some contact. And, I mean, if he's actively using your insurance, I believe you have the right to call the insurance company and find that out as well. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know that stuff. But a lot of times, like what I always tell people is, when you're sending someone to treatment, you can get a release of information, not of the actual data of what's going on and what kind of therapy is happening, what's being said, but just like, is he here? Yes. Great. That's all we need to know, and maybe that's just enough. Is he here? Great. When's he discharging? Well, this date. Okay, great. That's all we wanted, and I always tell people that, one of the things I would say, especially if it's someone under 18, that I would never expect a therapist to tell you anything that goes on in therapy. That's completely inappropriate. But there's nothing wrong with the therapist saying, oh yeah, he showed up, and maybe that's where the conversation as a family begins, and saying, hey, we would like to do family therapy. We would like to help. We would like to be participants. And he may say no, but at least you're offering and trying. And that, to me, that would be the number one thing, is putting yourself in that situation, and then, see how he responds, see what happens.
Well, we're jumping in. I mean, I always jump to the negative. We don't know the whole story. And so we hope it's not a situation. I hear Florida and I hear they're not responding and I don't know where my son is. And, I instantly go and I'll just do the PSA. And I mean, I know Google and internet and everything is an amazing place to find out everything. There's also a lot of the other side that Google doesn't talk about. So before you call that 800 number or make the decision, please bring in a trained professional. It doesn't always have to be a massive. I mean, there's a lot of people I know from my sake, you can run by places and I can give you my honest feedback. It's a free consultation. Mm-hmm. I'd much rather just it's not like we're not going to charge you an arm and leg for anything. But this is what we're talking about. It does happen. And again, I know, and the other side of the coin is, how do you know if it's trusted professional? But there's clinicians that you'll know, and there's all kinds of places. So I love Google. I do it all the time, look up everything. But treatment, Google, a lot of those are ads. A lot of those are paying a lot of money to be on top of the page. Those not always the best options. There's a lot of people, Kevin, myself, this is why we built Family Matters. You can reach out to either one of us with a simple question, and it's not going to cost you anything. So, please do. Please, we can tell you, we can direct. We know these stories. If we knew the name of it, I can instantly tell you a long history of it. or I can find someone in that area. We'll get to, but anyway, I hope your son is safe. I hope this is just a case where he's not wanting to talk. I don't know what it is, but I hope it's good. But this is why we're here.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, he's in treatment, and we're gonna think positive, but also we'd be happy to do some screening for you. So and send us the. I mean, if you want to follow up and send Jay the email and say, hey, this is where he's at, we will definitely spend some time digging in and give you a response.
Yeah, absolutely. We always cut them up. These questions, we'll send them back. Hopefully you respond. But other than that, I mean, I think we're done for the week.
Wow.
I think it was a full day's work. I'm kind of winded, but
I know, I'm exhausted.
Jeez. All right. Well, we'll do this again next week. We may shock you. We may have it on a Sunday night. Who knows? But more often than not, we're pushing for Wednesday night. We'll stay with there. But either way, we're going to do this every week. Keep the questions coming. It warms my heart. And we're going to start stumping Kevin on one of these questions. I know it's going to happen.
One of these days.
Whoever stumps Kevin will win a prize. I'll figure out some kind of prize.
Absolutely. No questions asked. I'll contribute as well.
Jeez. I'll see you next week, Kevin.
All right, brother. Take it easy.